Amazing, amazing, my friends. It's really wonderful to see all of you once again. It's great to see you here. And, if you are stuck in traffic after a long, hectic day, feeling the weight of stress on your shoulders, maybe it's deadlines at work, the endless to do lists, or just the demands of everyday life piling up. So, stress seems to be a constant companion for everyone, doesn't it? But what if I told you that there is a unique way to eliminate that stress and restore balance to your life? So I'm so excited to introduce you with our special guest, Manjunath Nadakaut, a renowned handwriting expert who has helped many people find peace and balance through the art of handwriting analysis. So you heard that right. That handwriting holds the key to managing stress more effectively. And in this session, we are going, dive or deep into like how the way this handwriting can influence your mental and emotional well-being. So Manjunath will be guiding us through, real actionable techniques that can help you release the tension that builds up over time, allowing you to feel more grounded and in control, right? So just be comfortable, grab your notepads or just write your notes and be there till the end. And we will explore a lot many things here, right? But before I hand over the stage to Manjunath, as a ritual, I'll share some of the details or just a small intro, right? So Manjunath is a handwriting expert and he's a founder of Harmony Health Hub with a passion for helping IT professionals, achieve optimal mental well-being. He specializes in neural retrain therapy, which is a unique approach that combines the power of graphotherapy and neuroplasticity. Wow, that's amazing. He's on a mission to guide to 1 million people or 1 million IT professionals towards a neurocognitive harmony and enhancing their productivity, reducing stress, and fostering a balanced life. So, he will be talking about how you can eliminate stress for a balanced life. Right. So, welcome, Manjunath, on the show. And thank you so much for accepting the proposal for being here for enlightening the lives of people, millions of people. So, over to you.
Thank you, Prashant, for that wonderful introduction. And also, I would like to thank for hosting me on your platform. So, hi all. So, I'm Manjunath Nadagot. So, I'm a life coach and handwriting expert. So, today, we are on the topic to discuss on the stress. So, how you can completely eliminate stress. Okay. So, the topic itself is so powerful that it is giving you a perspective how you can eliminate rather than accepting it as a part of the life. Okay, so we'll get into that details. So before that, uh, I would have a question here, like whoever watching this on the YouTube live. So I have a question. How many of you are from like 70s to 90s people who are right now watching this? Like we didn't knew anything about stress. All we need, like we had with our experience, is how we can enjoy our life. So just getting back to the childhood days for 70s 90s people. Okay, so it's just like mama, I'm going there. I'll play there for some times and then I'll get back. Okay, so it was an instruction, like order to the mom that okay, I'll be here. If anything like happens, I'll be there. I'll just play. I'll enjoy my time, and then I'll come back. And then we used to come back. It's not that like over a little bit of time that we used to come back, but that's how our life was. Our life used to be before. Okay, so you can just imagine we didn't knew anything about the word stress. When you see today's generation people, like whoever are married and have a kids with you, so they say like it's boring, mama. Like I'm a bit stressed out. Even like we never knew what is the word called stress. So all that we knew was just the little word called tensed. So I am tensed. What for I am tensed? Because I forgot to complete my homework with my all enjoyment time that I had yesterday. So, and many of us realize even after going to school that we have not completed our homework. And before the class starts, like all right, rapidly, like, oh, okay, give me that who have completed. And then, so that's how we were even managing the things rather than getting into the stress that, oh, I have not written. So definitely I'll get some scoldings. No, like that's how the life we had it, so during those childhood times. Okay, but if you look at today's generation or whatever the current generation, the persons who are very happy during their 90s 2000s are also facing the term called stress. Okay, so if you look at stress, I would suggest like people are getting stress in many areas of life, and to highlight few, like in terms of your health, that my health is not good, I'm not staying healthy properly. So also when it comes to relationship, so I'm not able to manage my commitments. Okay, and when it comes to career, like I'm not for some reason liking this job, or when it comes to money, that I am bad at managing my finances. Okay, so you just put it in the chat, like which are these areas where you are completely stressed out, like when it comes to health, relationship, career, money. So you may be mastering in one of the area, but you might be uh, having stress in the other areas where you are yet to discover, or that needs a commitment for you. So normally what happens, like you sit and think, okay, uh, yeah, uh, what is that, how I can avoid this. Okay, so just by thinking and then like sitting and there and then thinking, nothing going to change, believe me. So if any changes have to happen, you have to take actions. So without action, just by a merely thinking, nothing is going to change. And you know, right, the brain takes almost 60% of our generated energy to drive this body. So when it is taking more than half the quantity of the energy that the body needs, that is the mind, and then you are just thinking how I can solve, like why I'm having this stress. Being aware to the stress itself uh, is much important thing, and you are adding that thinking. And when you start thinking, the brain starts consuming more and more energy, and that's where again it's a repetitive task. If you look at the end of the day, you don't have the enough energy, and you feel like I'm tired. Okay, and then you just again get irritated like much of the time, and then all the things happen because of that. Okay, so rather I would say, what are the steps I can take so that I can reduce to an extent where I can completely eliminate it. So that's the question you have to put, so that the brain gets something new to think about, like from a different perspective. Okay, so let's understand the stress from the fundamental perspective. Okay, so looking at the definition of stress, okay, it's the feeling of emotion or a physical tension. Okay, so as a handwriting analyst, so we look at the human brain as a generator, as like generator, and it's a factory of thoughts. Okay, so all the things happens from a thought, at the thought level. And and right, it's unconscious, the subconscious mind plays a major role when it comes to a thought, because back of the mind a lot many things are running, because the human mechanism itself, like whatever the sensory perception that we have, the millions of events are hitting our brain every second, and only few, hardly, just not even a 1% we are able to process consciously. So just think of how many things like you are missing out, so that you are not leading the life by taking control of your mind. Yes. So the stress may come from any of the event. So for example, I would suggest, um, it might be an intimidating, like when you're going to office, like you see an accident, so which normally not happens. Okay, and then that will be a traumatic experience for you, because something you have seen which you cannot digest, and then you keep questioning that why that happened, like what, why I was able to, like, dare to witness it or something. So that's where, like, stress develops. Okay, that's like the initial stage, by the vision, I would suggest. Okay, so and then it may be the feeling of frustration, so during which the stress develops. Okay, and also when you're angry or nervous. Okay, so just be aware of to these events the next time. That's the starting point for a stress. Okay, so it's all about at the thought level. And as a side effect, if what I mean by the physical tension is what you see manifesting, these thoughts get manifested, like in terms of blood pressure. Okay, so in terms of what do you call, many issues, whatever you see on the physical level, like even, did you know that it also causes skin related issues, these stress? So and also like diabetes, uh, so you name it, everything, like most of them would have caused through the stress, which we are not even aware that we are going through it. Okay, so let's see what are the different kind of stress we have. So the first thing, first classification under the stress is acute stress. Okay, so if you could correlate with the maths, so it's something related to acute angle. Okay, so this happens, like you get a stress for a very short period of time, and then it subsides, and the stress eases out. Okay, so this is called acute stress. So if you look into your life, I mean, for example, like you get irritability, like for some reason, like something going back in your head, and then you get irritation, like why, even like even some person like started to speak, and then you get irritated, like I don't want to listen to this person, because that's the pre-notion that you have already in your mind. And if that person starts speaking, then you get irritation. Okay, and it does not happen like for too long. It's a short span of time. So that's where, like, you feel this irritation. So that's one example. And also sometimes when you become anxiety, so that is where this acute stress happens. So that also causes stress when you get anxiety. And sometimes you feel very sad, like you feel like your energies have been dropped, like you say, Mama, can you get me a glass of water? Because you are unable to move yourself and you are feeling completely sad for that. And then your energies have been lowered. So that's an indication that you are under stress. Okay. And also, when it comes to headache, so you might have experienced like short, like for an hour, 2 hours, it stays and then it goes off. So that's an acute stress. And also the back pain, like for some reason, like you feel some back is aching and then suddenly you take a hour rest and then it goes off. And it also like comes about gut health. Okay. So when you are stressed out, definitely your stomach takes the beating. Okay. And we see stomach, that is a tummy, as a second brain. Okay. Because that's a energy generator. So where the food gets digested, that's where the energy is produced, and it's a second brain. Okay. So if you are under more stress, so it may also leads to diarrhea or constipation. Okay. So that's also one of the things that happens at the physical level due to the stress, acute stress. Okay. So I would say, like, you can share me in the chat, like if you are going through this stage of stress, that's the acute stress. So you can mention one in the chat. Okay. And then the next category of the stress is episodic stress. Okay. So it's something like episodes. Okay. So this is a stress similar to acute stress, but it keeps oftenly coming back again and again. And you know what happens? It accumulates. So if you have seen the rack of books, that's how it accumulates within us, within our subconscious level. Okay. So that whenever like one term finishes, the next term. So it keeps repeating itself. So that is the episodic stress. Okay. So the example I can mention here for this episodic acute stress is, take an example where the company has a poor management. Okay. So and then the boss will get stressed out, and you know what happens when boss gets stressed out? So he puts everything to his team. Okay. So it flows from the top level. So he puts his team under stress. And if you are working under such kind of the manager or your boss, so definitely you have to take that stress and then just get the things done. Okay. And also in the, if you are a working professional, so it might be because also maybe for a tight deadlines that you have to go through like every month. Okay. So this is not quite like, it is coming quite often. So deadlines are very chop up. Okay. So you have to keep dealing them all the, if not weeks, for months. Okay. So these, and the one more thing that leads to episodic stress is the overcommitted lifestyle. So overcommitted in the sense, your capacity is 100%, but you overcommit to 130%. That might be because of the low self-esteem. So you say yes for everything, and then you can't say no, thereby committing yourself than what you can deliver. And then definitely you are inviting, or you have landed into this, in this episodic acute stress, I would suggest. Okay. So whenever it comes to your lifestyle, see what better choices you can make. Okay. And then commit to it. So that's the episodic acute stress. So go ahead and mention in the chat that if you are in this category of episodic acute stress where the stress keep coming back again and again. Okay. And then the good news is if you are falling anywhere between acute and episodic stress, I would say you are at the surface level. Okay. So it can be easily treated and can be eliminated. Okay. So that's a good news. And the next level, that is a third level of stress. So this is called chronic stress. Okay. So here what happens? You have accepted the stress as a part of your life. Okay. So yeah. Hi Prashant. Thank you for your comments. Yeah. So the chronic stress, it's a pattern in your life, and it has become a part of you. Okay. So you said, acha, like if I'm falling sick, then you say, okay, this is normal. I used to get every time like once in 3 months. So you see there, like you have completely accepted that it is a part of your life. So the best example I can give here for the chronic stress is, you see there is a war going on. Okay. So Russia and then Ukraine. Like, what you can do in this situation, which is completely out of your control. So just by thinking, sitting here, you can't do anything. Okay. Or it can be the poverty. Okay. Poverty in your life. So, or any traumas that you experienced in your childhood. So they all lead to a chronic stress. That's because you somewhere accepted it as a part of your life. Okay. So this leads to a chronic. And if you are at this level where I have accepted and I'm living with it, definitely that's not the place you have to be. Okay. uh, so please mention in the chat, like if you are in the level 3, that is the chronic stress, the 3. So you can mention. So it's at the deeper level, I would suggest. Okay. So but definitely the solutions exist. So I'm going to speak next, the next section, like how we can resolve these things. But only thing is, yeah, it takes a little bit more time, but definitely that is curable. Okay. Through a neural retrain method that I have mentioned. So only thing is, you will be taken more time, but if you are willing to come out, then everything is possible. Okay. So now uh, I'm going to mention in this section, like as a handwriting analyst, how I look at that from my perspective. So definitely you might have made certain notes. So if not, if you can write any 2 sentences with a pen and paper, so I can just support you. Okay. So the first thing what we see as a handwriting analyst is the selective listening. So it is one of the parameter that a person is going through a stress. Okay. So in selective listening, what happens? Like you listen to any conversation or anywhere in the group you are participating, but somewhere at the back of your mind, you reframe it the way you want it. Okay. So for example, like if I say you have done a wonderful job, so what I'm saying is I'm complimenting you, but somewhere at the back of your head, "Acha, like why this guy said that you are doing a wonderful job?" You see that? So he's replaying that thing again and again. Okay, so thereby, because he's not landing in a conclusion, and he's keep thinking about why he might have said that, instead of acknowledging, you are thinking again, what that person mean by you have done the good job. See there, there is a pattern, and since he keeps replaying it, okay, so that leads to a stress. Okay, so that's what we say it as a selective listening. Okay, so let me share my screen. So yeah, hope my screen is visible. So for selective listening person, what we see is we look at the letter E. So you can see here. So the letter E, where the loop does not exist, it is retraced. So if you can see here, all the E's, most of them will be retraced. So I would suggest, if you are falling under this category, please score yourself +1. Okay. So you can see in the entire handwriting, so the loops are not been healthy, all are retraced. So you can see here in the tell, so E is retraced, and you see in the between the word, so all the E's have been retraced. So this is the selective listening. That's the first parameter that the handwriting analyst, as a handwriting analyst, at least I look into, if a person has this trait within. Okay, so okay, so hope you put yourself in the comments. Okay, so +1 score. And then the next thing, what we are going to see as a handwriting analyst is the falling lines. So for this, what we check is where on the left side of the sheet, and by the way, this has to be, your handwriting has to be recorded in the plain A4 sheet. Okay, so that's where, like, we want to see without lines how uh, your strokes are getting formed. Okay, so for the falling lines, so what we exactly see is, we see where the word has been started and where the entire line is ended. Okay, so you just check if the start and the end is below than the start, so that's what we call it as a falling line. So whenever we see this falling line in your handwriting, so it clearly indicates the one of the parameter that the person is experiencing stress. Okay, so for that, so let me share in the handwriting. Okay, so you can see here. So the sentence, like if you see the U where it has started, and then you see the sentence or the line where it has ended, personality. So clearly there is a down inclination observed. Okay, so this clearly indicates the person is going through stress. Okay, so the more falling the angle, the more stressed he is or she is. Okay, so just check in your writing. So if you are able to see this behavior, the falling line, so then I would suggest you give +1 again if you are falling under this category. Okay, so this is one of the parameter that a person going through a stress. Okay. And then coming for the third thing. Okay. So the person may also go through stress when he controls himself. Okay. So instead of expressing, so what happens? He don't express and he control himself. And too much of self control is also not good, because you are not letting that emotion to flow out of you. So that's where like it keeps re-repeating at the subconscious level. Okay. And you always feel, I think I should have spoken about it, but I did not speak because I didn't had a courage. And you start discussing those things either with yourself or in your friend circle. So that is what happens. Okay. So that's a third parameter, that is a self control. Okay. So anywhere in your handwriting, so the specific letter that you can look into for this is the T bar, the letter T bar. Okay. So letter T has a stem and it has a line. Okay. So just look on this line, how it is getting formed. Okay. So for a self control, there will be an umbrella shaped T bars that will be visible in your handwriting. You see, the umbrella shaped T bars will be visible in your handwriting. Okay. So just look back at your writings. Just check whether you have any umbrella kind of T bars in your writing. So that indicates that you are a self control person. Like, to a certain extent, I would say very few instances it's fine, but too much of self control is too bad. Okay. So if you are seeing that, I would say you can rate yourself again +1 for that. And then so the next parameter what we see in the handwriting is the worry loops. Okay. So why the person is experiencing worry? Okay. So we look at uh, that in the handwriting. Okay. So the specific letter to look for, yeah, for a self control, I would say you can see here, even this handwriting, there is a falling line, which means experiencing, started to experience the stress. And also, if you see there, the word there, so there is a T bar, which is an umbrella shaped T bar is visible. So the person is controlling themselves. Okay. So we don't exactly know what they're controlling, but definitely they're controlling themselves and they're not letting it out. Okay. And then for an experiencing worry loops, so you can see the letter to look at is M, letter N, and letter H. Okay. And you can see there will be a loop existing in these letters. So one such letter here in the M, if you can see, there is a small loop that is formed. Okay. So, and also in the word dreamed, so if you can see, it can form on any leg. Okay. So we call them as a leg. Okay. So if you are seeing a loop in the word dreamed in the M, if you see there is a loop. So this indicates that the person is going through worry. That clearly indicates that. Okay. And then if you have this in your writing, again, I suggest please have +1 score for it. Okay. And then So the last and the final is what we look in the handwriting is irritation. Okay. So if you could see for irritation to be found out, so you have to look for the letter I for a dot. How the dots have been happening in the letter I. So if you look at letter I in the word with, so it is coming sharp downside. Okay. And if you can see in the word variety, so slightly it is moving towards the right side. Okay. And if you see the letter infinite in the same word, one moving towards the right, one moving towards the left, and one it's neither left or right. So much variations uh, you can observe. So when you have any such kind of strokes, you can see in the variety it is leaning towards the right side. So this clearly indicates the person is going through irritation, and this irritation, as I mentioned in the initial, it's one of the parameter for experiencing the acute stress. So it is going through the stress. And you know one thing, so we do stacking. So if a person has a irritation and the worry loop, so the person will experience anxiety. So that's the one of the parameters we also look in the advanced level of handwriting analysis. So yeah, I would suggest if you are able to see this in your writing, please score +1. Okay, so just to recap, I would tell once again. Okay, so we have seen um, falling lines, we have seen selective listening in the letter E, and we have seen self control for a umbrella shaped T bar, and then the worry loops in the letter M, N, and H, and irritability in the letter I dot. So go ahead and tell me what is your final score in the chat uh, that you are experiencing. So yeah, so if you are experiencing score anywhere more than 2, then definitely it's time to take action. Okay. So anything less than 2, it's acceptable. You should be able to resolve by yourself. If your score is more than 2, so I suggest definitely you have to work upon yourself, and you have the stress has made a home in you. I would put it in this way. So only thing what it does is if it gets the fuel, it's going to raise and never it going to subside. Okay, so it's this a decision that you have to make. And being a handwriting analyst, if we can say that the person is having a stress based on these parameters, we like I also know how to resolve them. So that's the best part, and that's where the neural retrain technique comes into the play. So where we work on your strokes uh, to set your neuroplasticity in the right connection so that the same thing reflect on it. Okay, so now exactly going to the next section. So what actually causes the stress? So we saw different type of stress and how to look up in your handwriting, the way it shows up in your handwriting. Okay, and then how what causes the stress. Okay, it might be one reason that you underwent a lot of pressure. Okay, so pressure in terms of paying the EMIs, that I need to have a definite amount in my bank account by end of the month to pay for an EMIs. So, or it can be with respect to the relationships, it's not going well and you are into the pressure, or for moms being out there, like getting the child ready and sending them to the school, like it's a lot of pressure, preparing the food, putting up like the clothes ironed, and making your child ready and then leaving to the bus. So a lot of pressure. So this causes stress. So this is one of the causes for stress. So the next being inviting to a big changes. So it might be anything, moving from one place of the city to another place, like you have to completely shift. So that's a very big change. So you are comfortable being in one place, and for the sake of job you have to shift it to another place, or for that reason uh, it's the another place within the same city. Okay, so there are a lot of parameters that you consider when it comes to a kid education, like all that things. So these are some of the big changes um, that leads to a stress if not properly handled. And the third thing is worrying about something. Okay, so we have this mind, which is a very wonderful tool, but we don't know how to use it. So we constantly keep thinking about the past and the future, leaving out the present. Like how my child career going forward, like what I can give value to him so that he nourishes in his career and all that things. So still your child maybe 5 years or 6 years. So and then like, yeah, having a long term goal, it's good, but always keep thinking about it is something which you have to relook into it. Okay, so and then, right, the more we think, the more we get into the trap. Okay, we are leading nowhere. Okay, so that's one of the thing. And the other thing that can lead to a stress is time of uncertainty. Okay, so the last year, if you can see, uh, very top giant companies laid off the employees. Okay, so having this job security also leads to a stressful situations. Okay, and also when it comes to things which is out of your control. Okay, so for example, say the share market. So you felt like, you have seen, you don't have any control over it, like in the last elections. So the share went up, assuming like, you assume the share will go up, and then you invested and then share dropped. So you suddenly come into a pressure, and that leads to a stress, like, okay, so yeah, so those are the things which you don't have a control over it. So be 100% responsible, um, which can help you to come out of it. Okay, so that's the one of the instance where we hang on to a things which we don't have control over it. Okay, and then stress can also come where you have the responsibility to handle the things in your home. And trust me, like when you have someone elder than you and giving the instruction how to handle, and just for the sake of saying no to them, like you accept, you become responsible, and then you don't want to do it. So then you suddenly come under pressure. That also leads to a stressful situation. Okay, and sometimes this do happens, that if you don't know what to do and you're completely free can also lead to a stressful situation. Like people start thinking the main thing that happens is the comparison. Like, so you compare, others are doing so much job, like what, why I'm not supposed to, like why I'm not doing, why I'm sitting here, what I'm doing it. Okay, so and then people get into the pressure. So that's the one more category of people who takes the stress all by themselves. So I call, they invite the stress. Okay, so which is not even a good thing to have it. Okay, so these are all the situations that will cause the stress. So we saw now what are the different categories of stress, how to look into the handwriting, and what exactly causes the stress. Because being aware to the stress is the first step that you take to come out from it. So that's the main intention. Okay, and the next thing what I'm going to say is, so this much of the time I said stress is a bad thing, but now I am saying stress is a very good thing. Only thing is we don't know how to handle. Okay, so when you have a stress, so the main thing is it activates, it gives you more energy, and then it improves your cognitive abilities by being alert. Okay, so this is very much required for a people. Like suppose you are appearing for a competitive exam, then definitely this stress, little bit of this stress is required for you to push the final goal to achieve, and then ensure that this stress subsides after it. Okay, so to keep you alert and to give you that energy, the stress is very good thing. Okay, so it's not a bad thing. Okay, but all that you need to know is how to use them. Okay, or be aware to them. So that's the main thing that people lack. Okay, so now how to deal with the stress. Okay, definitely it can be eliminated. There are many techniques and tools I have which I can support you in dealing with that stress. One is the neural retrain therapy that I am suggesting. Okay, so the main thing is you need to have a mind and a body coordination, because many a times you might be thinking, today let me do this task, and for some reason like you may not have time to do it, and then you end up, acha, like I can do it tomorrow, there is no issue, there is no deadline. Okay, so you keep postponing a thing. So what is happening here, so the mind is saying, mind is very alert, so mind is saying you do this, but body is not supporting for what mind is saying. So to get the control or the coordination between the body and the mind is what is required to deal with the stress. Okay, because the body should support what mind should say, and the mind should support what body should say. They have to be coordinated and they have to be in sync. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then see what you can focus, what is in your control, and see what is in not in your control. Okay, so you can mention me in the chat what you feel, what is in your control. Okay, so when it comes to food, okay, so being healthy, that is in your control, because to be healthy you need to know what you have to eat. Okay, so that is in your control. And what you can feed to your mind is also very much important, because many a times you watch news. Okay, so think over it at the subconscious level. Mind is watching everything, not even a single thing is missing out, because your eyes are watching, your brain is like your ears are listening, then definitely brain has that data with you. Okay, don't think I have not watched that part of the thing, because if you are in front of it, then definitely your brain has that. Okay, so be aware to what you are feeding, what are the thoughts you are feeding to your mind. So that is the thing what is there in your control. Okay, so these are the things, some of the examples, what is in your control. But what is not in your control, you should be also aware of it. Like the weather, it's not in your control, because it may rain whenever the condition suits. And then temperature, you don't have control over it. So for that reason, any policy from the government, you don't have control over it. And or in-laws, your mother, your sister-in-laws, you don't have control, whatever it is. So never ever think that I can control them. All that you can do is you can control yourself, but definitely you can't control other people. For that reason, it might be your family members as well. Okay, so that's the thing, you will be dealing. So be aware to what is in your control, so that you are not helping the stress to come and sit within you. Okay, and also being healthy, as I mentioned, healthy lifestyle is in your control. Okay, so these are the things I wanted to tell from my side about having this, eliminating this stress completely out of your life, so that you have a balanced life. So it's not about work life balance, there are many little things that is there apart from your work. Okay, so make sure like work is a part of your life, and don't make it as a major part around the life. Okay, so by handling stress, you're able to handle in terms of emotionally. And once you're able to handle them on the emotional level, so that have you relaxed, and that provides you the calmness, and thereby it also improves your cognitive ability. And definitely like you are not entering in the tap of stress. Okay, so that's what I have to say. And then definitely have a neural retrain therapy. It will definitely help come out from this stress. Okay, so that's what I have with me on this today's topic, to eliminate stress, have a balanced life. Thank you, and over to you, Prashant, for being patient.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Manjunath, for sharing this amazing insight. So,
Yeah,
friends, I'm sure that you actually have got some value here. Like just by handwriting, you can actually come to know about your stress level, and just by working on these things, it can actually bring a change. Amazing science. Thank you so much, Manjunath, for this. So, friends, now we are open for questions. If you have any question, you can ask, and Manjunath is there to answer. Meanwhile, I've got some questions here, so
yeah,
let me
sure.
just put them here. The first question which I have got is like how this stress is connecting to the handwriting.
Okay,
So, like, why
so
do we say that it is connected to handwriting?
normally what happens? So as I mentioned, the stress starts at the thought level. It's the mind that is a factory. Okay, so and handwriting, we say it as a blueprint of your mind. Okay, so how much ever different you write, the the way it is put on the paper as a holistic myth seems changed, but as a handwriting expert, so we see exactly the strokes. So that strokes you can't even change because that's how it is neurologically structured in your subconscious level. Okay, how much ever you try to change, it comes exactly the same way. You can't fake it. Okay, so that's because that's how the neural structure has been already completed in
Design.
your brain, design in the design itself. So exactly it comes up, and as I mentioned, all the five parameters that leads to a stress, so we exactly see that. So that's where like handwriting helps to find whether the person has a stress or not.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for this. Now, I just want to ask, like, what exactly is the science behind this handwriting? Like, it can influence your mental state.
Yeah, so definitely because what we are doing is so we are making you aware of what is the current state of your mind, and then we are working through the therapy, so neural retrain therapy, so that we are helping out to have that stroke corrected, so that the synapse level in the neuron structure, if you see, so it readjusts itself. Okay, so once it starts readjusting, so where the instruction is going, yeah, through your hand, that's how you are writing, and we are helping you to write write the stroke in the right proper way.
Yeah,
Okay, so that
yeah.
changes, and then yeah, definitely if you are able to impact at the neuron level, then definitely your mental state also changes.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, like, can handwriting, like, this handwriting can also detect early signs of burnout also?
definitely. So what we say is the handwriting is a blueprint of a mind. Okay, so even um, see, for example, like you fall sick, like you ate an ice cream and the next day you caught cold. Okay, it's not that just with that one ice cream you just got the cold. So the work was happening in the back end. Okay, that there are so many reasons for you to fall sick. Okay, so only thing that happened is that's a trigger point to show up as a symptom, but at the back of the mind the brain has already have the clues with it. Okay, so that's what I said, it's a blueprint. So exactly we can see the early signs where the person is stressing out, so what else as a consequence can also lead to a burnouts. And trust me, Prashant, we can also see the early signs a person experience blood pressure issues as well. So yes, so when we ask for validation, the person may say no because he's not even aware of it. But there are instances where we ask the person to get a blood checkup done, not for blood pressure, but for other things as well. And when when they consult the doctor, definitely there are a positive turnouts in the patients that they have issues. So sometimes even the report may not show up because it may be in the early stages of the formation, but definitely if not treated at the right time, definitely in the long term, the person is going to experience it later in this stage.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Thank you so much once again for this. So, friends, I'm asking if you have any question related to this, then you can ask. And today we are talking about how to eliminate stress for a balanced life. And the tool which we are using here is that the handwriting. So your handwriting can, can tell you a lot of things about you. If you want to know, if you want to like ask any question, then you can. Okay. Thank you. So the next thing is like, how can someone incorporate handwriting practices into his daily routine to manage stress?
Yeah, so definitely, I have a therapy for 21 days, 48 days, and then for 108 days. So we have a different stages. So definitely, all it takes is 15 minutes of his time, of the people's time, and definitely, if practiced consistently, and consistency leads to an habit formation. So if they're able to control, like if they're able to replicate that, and definitely I would say like they can eliminate the stress and live a happy life. You're on mute, Prashant.
So if you want to go through, like if you go through some handwritings of a person, can you also detect that a person is going through not only mental issues but some relationship issues also?
Yes, so definitely the relationship part also can be analyzed through their handwriting. So in that case, so what I do is I take handwriting of both the couples, okay, and then individually, like I communicate with them, and
Yeah.
then so now they're aware of the things what is happening, uh, like the weakness in their relationship, and then together I make them to sit, and then now then both don't know themselves now better. So I'll have that conversation with them. So it's all about the healthy relationship is where like the communication happens. So if the communication uh, trait is taken a hit, so we get to know that in the handwriting, and definitely we can say what is going wrong, uh, that is causing the relationship issues uh, for a couples. Definitely it can be found out in the handwriting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for once again for this amazing answer. So okay, we have Tamanna says it was an amazing session. Learned a lot today. Thank you, Tamanna, for being into the show. I appreciate uh, being here. So thanks once again. Okay, so when somebody is working to overcome the stress, so like what are the challenging things the person can face or might face?
Okay, so assuming if they are going through of their own, so as I mentioned earlier, like without the help of the coach, so being aware to what is happening is the first thing to a change, to overcome the change. Okay, so if they are able to analyze exactly what is causing for that stress, like at the root level, I mean, not at the surface level. Okay,
Yeah.
so definitely they will figure it out further, like how to overcome the stress. But it will be a long process. I would not say it's not a impossible task, but it takes a quite long time. Okay, so but if you are looking for any of the coaches support, then definitely it can be shortened, like within a month or two. So that's where it is. Yeah.
Thank you so much once again. So I just want to know, like, whatever the thing is going in the mind or the mindset. So whatever the person writes, you can actually guess that what is moving into his mind, or what is going on in his mind.
Yeah.
So I am mute.
No, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. So how just changing the handwriting can actually change the mindset, or does it bring any clarity or focus into the life?
So see, what is happening is it's so we don't look up that as a like English or something, okay? So you may seem like, okay, I know this language, okay, so this is L, this is E. But as a handwriting analyst, we simply see it as a stroke.
Okay.
Okay, even if it is not an English language, we are completely fine. Okay, so for that reason, um, so even the European languages also we can analyze. Okay,
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, so which has a derivative relative to the English strokes. So in that way, we can even analyze a persons with different languages, and much of the research has not been done on Indian languages, but there are common things we can see in their regional language as well, because it's all about stroke. And it's a science, Prashant. Like, there is no guesswork, I would say here. Okay, so if it is forming like that, it is exactly like this in your brain, because that's what the science says. So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
so we look at that as a strokes, and we have seen people like, when we ask them to give a handwriting, they say like, I have three kind of styles.
Oh,
I said,
wow.
only reason being a handwriting analyst, I would say like, okay, give me the best style that you have got. So please give me a writing in your best style. So because for us, style does not matter. Like, all that matters is the strokes. So yeah.
That's nice. So I just want to ask, like, if somebody is working on the handwriting thing, so what kind of challenges this person can face during the journey?
Okay. So the first thing that happens is a resistance, okay, between the mind and the body. Because
Okay.
what happens, the mind is very comfortable in the current state. Okay,
Okay.
so whether the person is experiencing negative thing or he is experiencing the positive thing, the brain does not know this is good, this is bad. All it knows is the energy. So it is comfortable dealing in that exactly the same position. But when we give the therapy, and then when the changes are expected to happen in the brain, then that creates the resistance. Okay, so that resistance, I would suggest, is a good thing. Okay, because whatever the emotions that are trapped inside, they are slowly coming out. Okay, so that's how it happens. Okay, so that's what the person experienced during this journey, and that's how we see as a positive sign that the emotion is letting go out of you. And once that thing settles down, definitely that person is a new person, no more a old person.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, my friend, I would suggest you that you go through the handwriting analysis and learn a lot of things about you, and even how can you improve them if you have any issue. Right? It is actually difficult. It is definitely possible to overcome those situations by only using or changing or improving your handwriting. Wonderful. So I have two, three more questions which I've got. So if you have any question, once again you can ask. So Manjunath, I just want to know, like, how much time does it take for you to analyze the handwriting of a person?
Okay, so since I have analyzed more samples, uh, maybe I would say around 80 to 100. Okay, so I can do it like maximum in a hour. I can just check. Okay, so all it takes for me is less than a hour to see just what exactly. And on the surface level, if you are asking me, it hardly takes 5 minutes.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
nice.
yeah. So for a
Amazing.
completely, yeah, I may take a little more just to see what the person actually needs and what is this and all. So it takes a little bit more time, maybe an hour. So
That's nice. Thank you so much once again. So also I want to know, like, if you go through the analysis, like person has come to you to work upon on the issues that you identify, right? You have identified some issues, then you give some some tasks to work upon, and like if I believe that you give them some handwriting improvement practices also, right?
correct,
Like to
exactly.
correct the strokes and all. So
Yes,
like can they start that writing immediately after the session,
yes,
or they need some time?
no. So once we deliver their handwriting analysis, so
Hmm.
all we do is to make the person know himself better. Okay. So that's the main step why we analyze the handwriting, because there are a lot many things the person may not be aware of because he has not reflected uh, what is happening with himself. Okay. Sometimes he might have not got that chance to reflect back what is why this is happening in my life. So we
Hmm.
will make him to aware that this is what is happening within you, and then immediately we can start the therapy for them to correct the strokes so that all the rewiring happens at the mind level.
Wonderful. Thank you. So my second last question is like, would you recommend any kind of resources to those people who are interested to learn more about this, like handwriting and or that handwriting and improving the stress level?
Yes. So definitely. So one thing is, yeah, there are lot many handwriting experts available there. So definitely reach out to the experts, and they should be able to guide you through their therapy. And yeah, so this is a wonderful science. I just want to mention that I have learned from my mentor. So his name is Imran Beg. Okay. So that's the my mentor whom I have learned this wonderful science. So yeah, I would suggest that you can go check out his page if you really want to learn this science and review yourself better. Then yeah, so definitely that helps out.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So my last question of this session is: any final tip you want to give to the people who are watching us now and who will be watching us later?
Okay, so I would suggest like definitely have your initial handwriting, and then whatever the parameters that I have mentioned here about the stress, just check. And if at all, if you are having any sort of whatever I have mentioned, like a score of more than 2, then definitely you are under stress, and I would suggest it's a very good idea, like if you can get in touch with the coach. For that reason you can even get in touch with myself, and yeah, and that's the step I would suggest you to take towards improving yourself and then coming out of this stress. So that's a tip I just want to give.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much once again. So friends, now we are reaching to the end of the session. Here I want to thank all of you who actually have joined us and got the valuable insights into the world of handwriting. And yes, that it is uh, it is right that handwriting can be a powerful tool for eliminating stress and achieving a balanced life. So just work on it. And a huge thank you to Manjunath for sharing his expertise and guiding us through these transformative techniques. So Manjunath, your knowledge and passion, for helping others, it shines through. And I'm so grateful for the time today.
So I also thank you, Prashant, for hosting me. So definitely, I hope people get benefit from this session. So yeah, thank you once again, Prashant.
So, friends, if you want to connect with Manjunath, then once the session will be over, I'll mention his details in the description box so you can connect with him directly and you can, take his help. So, because handwriting analysis can actually work on the stress level and can reveal lot many things about you, your life. So, whether you are looking to reduce stress, to enhance emotional well-being instead, then this is the right platform for you. Just connect with Manjunath and get this issue sorted out. Once again, thank you so much for all of you for being here, being a part of the session. And just remember that your journey to a balanced life is starting. So, or it is starting with, just a few strokes of the pen. Just change the strokes and change your life, right? Stay connected for more live sessions and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and share your learnings with all of us. So that because when you give a social proof, other people can also get inspiration from you, right? So I'll see you next week with a new speaker and a new topic. Till then, stay healthy, take care, bye bye, and once again, Manjunath ji, thank you so much for accepting the proposal and being here.
Thank you. See you all. Thank you for the
Bye bye.
session. Bye.